The Eagle by Alfred Lord Tennyson.
Good morning, children. In my previous videos, I gave you an explanation of the poem The Eagle by Alfred Lord Tennyson. In today's video, we are going to discuss the poetic devices, also known as figurative speech, that appears in this very short but a very beautiful poem by the poet. Now we see that this poem is it's a nature poem about an eagle who sits high up on a rocky mountain surrounded by blue sky. From beneath, the poet sees that the bird looks very close to the sun because it's sitting high up on a cliff. Now beneath the cliff is a sea, wrinkled sea, the poet says. And why is it wrinkled? Because of the movement of the waves. Now children, this poem in the first stanza, the poet just describes the bird sitting, but there is an action in the second stanza where the bird actually powerfully dives towards its prey. Now let us discuss the figurative speech or the poetic devices that have appeared in this poem. In the first line, he clasped the crag with crooked hands. With the sound, repetition of the sound K and letter C, we have here alliteration. In the second line also, close to the sun in lonely lands. With the appearance of the letter La and repetition of letter L and the sound La, lonely lands, again we have alliteration here. Now see, you can see children, it's a very short poem but full of poetic devices. Now we see the poet in the first stanza uses word he for the bird twice in the first stanza, along with hands and stands. For the birds and animals we usually use paws and claws, but the poet here wants to make it rather more connected to nature, and that is why the poet is taking the bird, personifying the bird, and uses words like he, stands and hands in the first stanza. There is exaggeration also in the second line, close to the sun, so we can write there hyperbole. In the last stanza, ringed with the azure word, he stands, again personification is there. Also, when I am reading this poem and when you are reading this poem, children, you can see that you can actually imagine the picture of a bird sitting high up on a cliff. So that means it also creates imagery. So you see in the first stanza itself, children, there are at least three poetic devices that appear: alliteration, imagery, personification, and yes, if we take close to the sun as an exaggeration, then there is hyperbole also. Now we're going on to the next stanza. The wrinkled sea beneath him crawls. Crawls again, sea crawls, personification. He watches from his mountain walls. Poet again uses the bird, personifying the bird here as he. And like a thunderbolt he falls. And like a thunderbolt he falls. Here the poet is comparing the bird with a thunderbolt. So we have a simile here. So in the second stanza we see, again we have personification, and then we also have simile here. So we see, children, that the first stanza and the second stanza together, there it gives us many poetic devices altogether. The whole poem is full of imagery. When we are reading the poem, when I am reading the poem for you, you actually create a picture in your mind. So there is a lot of imagery also. So altogether, if we see, we have personification, with the use of words he, stands, hands. Then we have alliteration. The first line of the first stanza and lonely lands. Then we have imagery. Also exaggeration. Okay, exaggeration would come in the second line, close to the sun. Okay, so this personification is again repeated in the second stanza also, where the poet is again calling the bird as he, and then yes, there is simile in the last line, where the poet compares, in the last line of the poem, where the poet compares the bird to thunderbolt, when the bird gives a powerful dive. Okay, so these are the poetic devices that have appeared in the poem. Now let's talk about the rhyme scheme of the poem. In the first stanza, he clasped the crag with crooked hands. It's A. Close to the sun in lonely lands. Again it's A. Ringed with azure world he stands. Again A. So the first stanza, the rhyme scheme in the first stanza is rhyme scheme in the first stanza is A, and A. Now let's see. The wrinkled sea beneath him crawls, B. He watches from his mountain walls, B. And like a thunderbolt he falls, again B. So the rhyme scheme of the second stanza is B, B and B. Okay. Yes, and there are rhyming words also. Hands and lands, stands, crawls, walls, falls. Okay. So these are the poetic devices, children. Now you can see so many poetic devices are there in such a short and beautiful poem. So I want you all to please note it down in your books itself, so that when you're revising the poem, all the poetic devices you will revise all together. Okay. Now moving on to the exercise that is given on page number 41. Understand the poem, take the correct options. First one is, the phrase crooked hand refers to A. long nails, B. bent hands, C. clawed feet, or D. beak and claws. Yes, so the answer is clawed feet. Option C. Going on to the second question, the azure world refers to, we have already discussed that, children. Azure world refers to, and your options are A. the earth, the sea, the sky, the land. Yes, you got it right. It is option number C, the sky. Very good. Third, in the poem, the eagle comes across as lonely, proud, helpless, or powerful. Yes, it is powerful. Option number D. Question number 4. The phrase like a thunderbolt he falls refers to the thunderstorm during the eagle's fight, the sound of thunder, the swift and the direct way the eagle swoops down, the eagle falling from the sky like lightning. It is option C again, the swift and direct way the eagle swoops down. So this is the end of the poem The Eagle, children. I am going to share with you the copy work of this poem very soon, so that you can do it in your classwork notebook. I want you all to just go through these poetic devices and the poem once again. That is all for today's video. Thank you so much.